So what will this return? After this, we are again doing this function call we've done a to the power 2 and again to the power 2. So a to the power 4 basically. So what should be the output of this program?
Ma'am, answer will be 1.
Correct. 1. Correct. Because 1
1,
to the
ma'am.
power anything is just 1. Correct. Absolutely. Next question. How many levels deep are sublist in this following list? What should be the answer to this? You have the given list and the first operation that it does is append and the next one is extend. So what should be the output for this following list? How many levels deep are these sublists? What do you think? Give me a number. What should it be? Should it be 3? Should it be 2? Should it be 1? What should be the number?
Ma'am, 2 levels deep.
Ma'am, 1, ma'am.
1 level deep, 2 level deeps. Let me see. 1 is absolutely wrong, but 2 I can consider. But why 2 and not 3?
Ma'am, there is the outer list that contains 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, and then there is the inner list that contains 3 and 4.
You missed one point. Can someone tell me which part he missed?
Uh,
Alright. So the first thing that you will get is
Ma'am, from 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6,
Ma'am.
7. 3, 4 will be in bracket and 5, 6, 7 in outside.
Then how many levels?
3.
Exactly.
3 levels, yes, ma'am.
So we have 3 levels. So 1 comma 2, then there is another level inside which now this thing is another level. Till this much, this is another level. This is your second level. And where comes the third level? This entire thing is your third level. So we have 1, that is 1 comma 2 bracket 3 comma 4 1 level, then bracket only 3 comma 4 is 2, and the entire thing is another level, so that is your third level. So the entire list is going to consist 3 levels. Next question. How many stars will this program print? How many stars will this program print?
Ma'am, 4.
Ma'am, 4, ma'am.
4.
Ma'am, 4.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Acha, chalo. Let's see. But why 4? Why is the answer 4?
Ma'am, is the answer 2?
Yes.
Yeah, ma'am, because it is I minus equals to 3, then at a time 3 will be deduced. Then if I value is less than or equal to 2, then the program will break and it will not continue any further.
So we will just have 2 stars printed for this program. So when we were talking about the control structures in the control structures class, I had spoke about these indentation, right? So this while loop, if this is false, then only this else condition gets printed. Otherwise, this else condition is never executed. This if condition does not, it just has the condition that is break. So once I reaches less than equal to 2, once it reaches this value, it's going to break the while loop. So the first answer is I is equal to 7. After that, we have this while loop. So I is greater than 0. So definitely the while loop is true. So this else condition never gets executed. So this while condition, it becomes true. After that, I minus equal to 3, right? So we are decrementing it. And then we have to print a star. And once it reaches this 2 value, it's going to break from the while loop. So the number of stars that it's going to print is basically only 2. Alright, so we're done with the MCQ for today. Now what we will be doing is few programs. So the first program that I have selected is using the split and the join function. Now can someone tell me what is this join function? What does this join function do? What is
Ma'am,
join?
suppose several words which is separated in a form of list. So what happens in the join function that it takes the specific word from the list and join it as a
Acha, got your answer. So as he said, we're going to use that strategy and we're going to apply that to this code. So we're going to accept a hyphen separated sequence. So how we are going to accept this hyphen separated sequence? We are going to apply the split function for that. Right? Of words as input and print the sorted words. So what I want as the input is, hi, my name is Ali. And what I want as the output is basically Ali, hi, my name and is. So it's going to sort this input given. Alright. So how we're going to do that? Let's say we have this list. Now we're going to use the split function in order to use this hyphen separated, and after that we're going to use the sort function. Now how we're going to use this join function? So first we have to take in the character. That means we want a hyphen. So the hyphen followed by the dot operator and then the join function. What do I have to pass over here? This following list. So I've taken the input as, hi, my name is Ali, and I've done hyphen separated using the split function. Then after that there's a sort function. Now the output that I should get is sorted output, that is Ali, hi, is my name, right? And I've used the join function. And in this join function I have given the hyphen separated. You can also pass any character you want. You can also pass it as a comma. So the output that you get is hi, comma, my, comma, name. Alright. Now it depends on what characters you want to pass. You may or may not even pass a character. You can just pass a space also. That is another character. Or you may just leave it blank. So it's just going to give you the output. So, but my question says that I have to accept this hyphen separated sequence and the output should also be sorted as well as hyphen separated. And that I've been doing using the join function, right? Now using this method only, what I'm going to do is convert a list to a string. So I have taken a list that is 1, 2 and 3 and I want to convert it to a string. So So using the join function, I'm going to be doing that. So I've taken this following list, that is list 4, that is 1, 2 and 3, and the join function I've not given any character. I've not given space, nothing. No character is passed in this single quotes. Dot operator, join function, and I've passed this list in the parameter and printed this list, and it gives 1, 2, 3. Alright, I can even pass a space. So this is how we can convert a list to a string using the join function. Now can someone tell me what is the enumerate function? What is the enumerate function?
Ma'am, like in the this list to string, like if we do if we do a type of function of list to str this variable, then will it show string?
List to string.
Like if this variable we put it in the type
no.
function, that won't show this string.
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so what is the enumerate function? What is the enumerate method? Can someone tell me what is the enumerate method? Alright, so the enumerate method is basically adding a counter. Its simple task is to add a counter to an iterable. That's it. So supposedly like we have serial numbers, let's say Rahul's roll number 1, Smita roll number 2, like this. So we just going to add a counter to that. Like we have serial numbers, so for this bread I want a counter starting from 0. So 0 comma bread, 1 comma milk and 2 comma egg. I want that counter to be added before this. So let's say even if I have a list over here and I want to add a counter to this. So what I want as the output is 0 comma 1, 1 comma 2, 2 comma 3, like this. So let's see how this is working. So the first thing that we have to take is an iterable. So what is this iterable? This list that we have created grocery, right? So it's going to iterate one by one. So first it's going to take the value bread. It's going to print 0 comma bread. Then it's going to take milk, 1 comma milk. Then it's going to take egg, 2 comma egg. Alright. Now it takes in two arguments. One is the iterable, that is whatever list or whatever you're giving over here, and then it takes in the counter. If you don't give the counter value, that means where it's supposed to begin from, it's going to begin from 0. That means it's going to start from 0. But in this one that I have given, I've given the counter to start from 10. That's why when you see the output, it is 10 comma bread, 11 comma milk and 12 comma egg. Alright, so this is how the enumerate method works. So all it does is it's going to add a counter, that's it, to an iterable and return it as the enumerate object. Then what another function that is helpful to us is the isInstance function. Now what is the isInstance function? What does this do? Supposedly I have taken number is equal to 5. Now if I take number, the variable number is equal to 5, then that is just an integer, that is just a numeric value, right? It's an integer value. Now after I've written 50 lines of code, I want to check this variable, what it is, whether it's dictionary, whether it's list, whether it's integer, I want to check for that, right? So for that we use the isInstance function. So what it takes in is the object, that is the object that needs to be checked. Let's say the number that I have given, that is your object. So that needs to be checked. Comma, we have to give the class information. Okay. We have to give whether it's list, whether it's dictionary, whether it's tuple, whether it's integer, what it is. So following class information is given and also my object is given. Now it's going to return true or false. So it returns true or false with the class information. That is, so let's see, as I was saying, number is equal to 5. This is just a numeric value. Then I've given isInstance. So the first one has to be your object that needs to be checked. So this is number, comma, I have given dictionary, comma, list. So is instance whatever we have 5, this is neither a dictionary nor a list, right? So it's just an integer. So if I write over here in, this is going to return true. Why? Because it checks the class information that is given over here. It sees, checks that first it's an integer, that means it checks it off, it's true. Now if I would have just given, I can also write it like this, I do not have to give two class informations, then also it was true. Now if I change this to dictionary, that is false. So did you get the idea? So is instance is basically checking for the class information. So you're passing an object, you're giving some class information, you're checking whether or not that object belongs to the specific given class information, and it will return true or false. So what enumerate function does, it will just add a counter. So if you have a list, let's say equal to 2 comma 3, then if you do enumerate the list, then it's going to just add 0 comma 2 1 comma 3 like this. So it's just going to add a counter. So what the is instance function does, it's going to check for the object whether it belongs to a specific given class information. Any question from this? Any
Ma'am, can
question?
you please repeat it once again?
Both of them or any one? Which one?
Ma'am, both of them.
Both of them. Okay. So what does the enumerate method do? Let's say you have this given following list: bread, comma, milk, comma, egg. Now what we have to do is basically we use this enumerate function and we've passed this list grocery over here, right? So what it does is it's going to add a counter to this grocery list. So it's going to give 0 comma bread, 1 comma milk, 2 comma egg. Why? Because I have not given the second argument where I have not specified whether the counter should start from 2, whether the counter should start from 9, or whether the counter should start from 1. So if the counter would have started from 1, it will taken 1, 2 and 3. Similarly, I've taken the second one, enumerate grocery, where I've begun the counter from 10. That's why we get 10 comma bread, 11 comma milk and 12 comma egg. And this is a list consisting of the tuples. So this is one tuple, this is your second tuple, this is your third tuple. So enumerate method does nothing but a simple job of adding a counter to the iterable. That's it. All it does is adds a counter to it. But what is instance does is it checks the information, the object information, the class information. So if I have this object, let's take a simple one, number is equal to 5. This is a numeric value. We know that, you know this also. So this is a numeric value. And I have to check whether it's a dictionary, whether it's a list, or whether it's an integer. So what I have given is, I've given this object that is this number, and I want to check whether it belongs to this class information dictionary. It is false. Why? Because this is not a dictionary. So I can give him more class information. If I give this class information, I have so many choices, that is dictionary, list and integer, right? So now this is going to return true. Why? Because it belongs to one of the given class information, that is an integer value. So is instance basically checks for the object class information.
Okay, ma'am.
Next is, what does this map function do? Map basically, we have to remember map function as an iterator. That's it. So map function equivalent to what an iterator does. So it returns a map object, which is an iterator, of the results after applying the given function to each item of a given iterable. So over here what we have done is we have created this function using this def keyword annotation. So if this takes in 2, it's going to return 4, right? So now I have taken this iterator, this is given range, so 2 comma 4 comma 5 comma 9. So this is your entire range over which it's supposed to iterate. So it's going to first take the value 2, then take the value 4, 5 and so on. So at map function, how do we have to write this map function in order that so that it gives this output? First we have to pass the function. That is this following function that we have created. If this was sub, we will pass this sub over here. The first thing we have to pass is the function name. The second thing that we have to pass is the range. So the range for me is going to be this number, right? So it's going to take in the value 2, then it's going to take in the value 4, then it's going to take in the value 5, then it's going to take in the value 9, return 18, right? Right? So the map function returns a map object which is an iterator of the results after after applying the given function to each item of a given iterator. So now I have written this DEF sub and then I've given this return B plus B, all of these two lines and everything, but I want to write it in just one line. But that is not possible using this DEF keyword. So what do we use instead of that? We will use something known as the lambda function. So let's see what is this lambda function. So for this lambda, it does the same task over here. First we have to write the keyword, that is lambda keyword, followed by a bound variable. So over here we had taken this variable b. So let's get this bound variable b. Semicolon, we have to write the same thing, that is b plus b. Done. Now I'm gonna store this in, let's say, R. And I want to print so the value is equal to 4. So it takes in 2 semicolon. It's going to do the same task, that is 2 plus 2 and return the value 4. So for lambda, it consists of the keyword, that is lambda, a bound variable that is given x over here, and then we have to give the body. Let's say what exactly the function is supposed to do. Like for DEF also we say that the function is supposed to like this, return the addition of the number to itself. So we're going to give that condition over here. So if we have lambda x, then we have given x plus 1 followed in the parenthesis 4, then it's going to take lambda 4, then it's going to print 4 plus 4, that is equal to 8. Now if this is taken this 2 over here, then this will be 2 plus 2, and the answer is going to be 4. Right? So what does the enumerate function do? Adds a counter. What is instant function does? It just checks for the class information. And what does the map function do? It is basically an iterator, right? So it takes in two arguments. That is, one is the function, and the second one is the range over which it's going to iterate, right? And
ম্যাম এই ল্যামডার পার্টটা আরেকবার মানে বলুন।
So this is lambda 2. Now this def keyword is there, this def function. Now this function I'm writing using the lambda function in just a single statement. So how am I doing that? I have to use a keyword, right? So I've used the keyword lambda, done. The same thing, we have passed this object that is b. So I've done the same thing. This is your bound variable. Semicolon. After that, return b plus b, right? So this is the body of the lambda function. So b plus b. All right. So what this is going to return is, when I'm going to do this r pass this 2, it's going to return 2 plus 2 do its job. That means this b value is going to take in 2. That's a bound variable. Then 2 plus 2, that is equal to 4. That's it. This is what the lambda function does. So all you have to give is the keyword, you have to give the bound variable and just the body of the function. Let's draw the similarity from this. You have the add one function, alright? It returns x plus 1. Simple function, just returns x plus 1. So if I take in 5, I've taken in 4, it's going to return 5. If I take in 5, it's going to return 6. Now I'm doing the same thing. Whatever this function is doing, I'm doing the same thing using the lambda function. So lambda x semicolon x plus 1, giving what the lambda function is supposed to do. So it takes in the value 5 over here. Semicolon 5 plus 1 is equal to 6. Next, we will stop the discussion today on list comprehension. Now, what is this list comprehension? Can someone tell me what is list comprehension? So next class, we will do more problems based on the list comprehension. Because we will see many programs where
Ma'am,
we have
please
this,
once show that lambda function.
yes. So, want me to explain or?
No, ma'am. Okay.
So, what does list comprehension mean? List comprehension is basically, as I can say, in many codes you will see that it's written in this one-liners. Like with all the for conditions, all the if conditions, everything is given in just one line, right? So, this is basically structuring the conditional statements in just one line. As you can say, beautifying your code, something like that. Making the code much more cleaner. You can use the list comprehension method. You can definitely use the for loop as well, if conditions, everything, doesn't matter. So I have done both in for loop as well as in the list comprehension method. So first let's discuss the for loop. So what the output of this program I want is, I want to extract the value of a particular key. So the values that I want to extract is for the specific key, that is C. Right? So I want all of these values 9, 20 and 50. So these are the values that I want. So that's why I've kept this as a temporary variable. Temp is equal to C. Alright. And then for sub, in this text dictionary that I have taken, dot values. Values we know is an inbuilt function to extract all the values from the dictionary. The result, that is this part, is equal to sub and the temp variable, that is your C, this key. So I want the values corresponding to this key, right? So the condition that I have given over here is, if temp in this sub dot keys print the extracted value, and I'm going to convert this result into a string, and it's going to print 9, 20 and 50. So what I basically want to explain over here is, this entire for loop, if this conditional statement that you've given over here, I am writing the same thing in just one line using the list comprehension method. So I have all the for loop condition, I have the if condition, and I also have the output. So the list comprehension consists of the output expression, that is the first thing is the output expression, as we saw. Then the next one is the input sequence. That is, I'm giving a range over here for x in range 1, 11. Done. After which we're giving this x variable and the predicate part, that is their if conditions. So it consists of three parts: output expression, input expression, the variable representing the member of the input sequence, and then optional predicate part. So we have included all of those things in this program. Clear on the list comprehension part? What basically list comprehension is? So first let's understand what list comprehension is, then we'll understand the program. So first, I've written everything that I'm doing over here, this for loop, if conditions, printing this, all of this in just one line. So what I'm doing is basically making my code much more cleaner. So sometimes when you'll check for codes and everything, you'll see that they've just given this one-liners. So this one-liner, when you see with all the conditions, all everything expressions given, then that is formatted in a list comprehension way. Alright? So in the next class, we will do more programs based on the list comprehension, and then we'll do other programs as well. All right. Any questions?
Ma'am, will you give this Jupyter notebook in the group?
Well, if you want, then I can send you this Jupyter notebook.
Yes, ma'am. Sure, we will.
Yes, ma'am. Please send the book, ma'am.
Yes,
Alright,
ma'am.
then
Please
I'll
send.
just wait. I just have to make few changes, and then I'll send it in your. All right. Once more, I'm just open the response for your Google form. Please mark your attendance. No questions in the chat box. So, question from my end. Would you prefer the class to be MCQ plus programs, or you just want the class to be based on MCQs only or programs only? Which one would be much more preferable?
Both.
Ma'am, like the way we did today, like that the MCQ plus programs was much
Okay.
better. Yes.
So everyone mark your attendance, and if you're done, you can leave the class. Thank you.